Namaste. No pain, no gain. But people want gains, and yet they don't want to go through the pain. And that is why many people fear the 8th house, the 12th house. But in reality, it is the 8th house Lord, it is the 8th house, it is the 12th house, it is the 12th house Lord that bring a certain depth of understanding within you. And so, those men and women who have planets in the 8th house or whose 8th house Lord is associated with Jupiter or with Ketu or with Sun, all these men and women who have a prominent 8th house Lord or prominent planets in the 8th house, all these men and women have a certain depth of understanding. Always remember, truth should be given, but to only those who have a certain depth of understanding. All the difficulties, all the struggles, all the pain, all the sufferings is what makes you a matured person, an evolved person. Otherwise, those who live in a goody-goody life, a comfort zone life, they never grow up in the true sense. They remain in those four walls and they continue to live a mediocre, a very base level life. But a man or a woman who goes through many sufferings, who goes through many challenges, who goes through many difficulties, evolves. Just the way a caterpillar becomes a beautiful butterfly, similarly such a man one day becomes a beautiful butterfly. And so, difficulties, challenges, obstacles, all these things become a necessity because it is these things that help you to grow, to evolve as a person. And therefore, whether you go through Rahu Mahadasha, Shani Mahadasha, whether you are having issues with 8th house, 12th house, all these things are necessary. God is giving you this rare opportunity to go through the sufferings, through the difficulties, so that you evolve. Generally, parents always want their child to go through a very smooth phase. Every parent thinks that my child, or every parent wishes that my child should never go through any difficulties, should never go through any challenges. And by this kind of thought process, you make your child a plastic rose. Then such a child looks good, has everything that one needs, but has no fragrance. It has become a plastic rose. But look at the real rose. It faces all the heat, it faces all the storms, it faces all the rainfalls. And because of all these things, it has a certain fragrance to it. It has a certain beauty to it. And that is why obstacles, challenges, sufferings are necessary to help you evolve. And that is where 8th house, 12th house plays a vital role. Few days ago, somebody asked that my ascendant is Pisces, and now soon I will start with my Venus Mahadasha. And Venus is the lord of my 8th house and 3rd house. So the person was afraid that this Venus Mahadasha may go very difficult for him. So he has asked this question that my ascendant is Pisces, and soon the 8th house Lord Mahadasha will begin. So how will it be? What should I expect? And in this podcast, I have answered this question. Through this answer, all of you who are about to start with their 8th house Lord Mahadasha will also get certain insights, and which will help you to realize that the 8th house Mahadasha or the 8th house Lord Mahadasha is not bad but highly adventurous. On this note, let's begin with this insightful podcast on 8th house Lord Mahadasha. There is no such thing as a bad or a good Venus, or for a matter, no planet is bad. Every planet has a message, a mission to improve you, to awake you. If you remain positive, then even a suffering can become a blessing in disguise. For Pisces ascendant, Venus is not harmful. All you need is to respect the woman and, if possible, fast on Fridays and worship Goddess Lakshmi with faith and devotion. Always remember, every person who comes in our life has a role to play, and the role may be whatever. It cannot affect you as long as you remain faithful, as long as you keep walking on the path of love. Rumi says, on the path of love, we are neither masters nor the owners of our lives. We are only a brush in the hand of the master painter. For Pisces ascendant, Venus Mahadasha is a wonderful period of transformation. For Pisces ascendant, Venus becomes the lord of the 8th house and the lord of the 3rd house. A great adventure awaits you. Interestingly, many are not aware of the fact that the word romance is defined as adventure in the English dictionary. This is the time when you can take risks, and only a man who can take a risk can attain that which others cannot. If you are not willing to risk the unusual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. Always remember this. Those who continue to live in comfort zones never grow in the true sense, because real growth is the growth within. Once Buddha asked a very old man, "What is your age?" And the old man said, "I am 4 years old." The emperor was seated at the feet of Buddha. He heard this answer and he was shocked. When the old man left, he asked Buddha, "What kind of answer was that? The man must be beyond 80 years, and yet he said he is only 4 years old. Please help me understand, O Master." Buddha said, "I asked him purposely because you have been asking all kind of stupid questions for last many hours. So I thought, why not give you the real thing?" A real master is a lion and not a cat. Who would dare to speak with an emperor in such a way? But the master is real, and real never fears. The emperor touched the feet of the master and said, "Please explain." Buddha said, "The real age is when you start turning inwards, when you start meditating, when your spiritual journey begins." When the old man said, "I am 4 years old," he meant that his spiritual journey has begun just 4 years ago. Now you tell me, what is your age? And the emperor started crying. He had no answer because he had not yet started on his spiritual quest, his spiritual journey. He never had looked within. And this is the whole essence of life, my fellows. Instead of what the Puranas and Upanishads are saying, the Master is more interested to know what you are saying based on your own experience, your own insights, your own self-realization. But this is a strange world. People will believe the Upanishads, whose authenticity is a matter of question, considering so many destructions caused by foreign invasions. But if a spiritual master mentions something, then shallow people will doubt. A living human being who has attained enlightenment is saying something, and people will not believe. They will continue to believe in scriptures. This is not new. It has happened with every Masiha, be it Jesus, Buddha, Mahavira, or Sai Baba. You will fear Venus only if you are afraid of taking risks, of using this wonderful period of Venus Mahadasha in experiencing self-transformation. Just for my close followers, I want to reveal the fact that people will talk a lot about spirituality, but if you ask them to jump first and think later, then out of 100, only one will step ahead and jump into the unknown. And it is only those who jump can experience the beyond, the godly, the divine. Generally, people say, think twice before you jump. But the Master says, jump first and then think as much as you want. The Mahadasha of 8th House Lord and 3rd House Lord, in case of Pisces ascendant, is all about adventures, romance, risks, and enjoying this wonderful journey called life. The Mahadasha of 8th House Lord brings a great transformation within you. And the real transformation is the transformation that happens inside out. People are more interested about life after death, when in reality you should be living your life fullest before death. The real question is not whether life exists after death. The real question is whether you are alive before death. It is only when you take risks, it is only when you become adventurous, it is only when you follow your heart that transformation happens. Eighth house and eighth house Lord is all about transformation, inner transformation. The great solution to all human problems is individual inner transformation. The real juice is only to be found in the deep valleys of the 8th house and 12th house. And it is through these deep valleys that great mountains, meaning great people, have evolved. Some of the finest human beings have had major planets in the 8th house and 12th house. But people are shallow. They fear the 8th house and the 12th house just the way the forest animals fear the lion and the tiger. 8th and 12th is where the greatest spiritual beings dwell. They cannot remain trapped in those typical goody-goody four walls of safe houses in the chart. They are the lions. They live free. They dance. They celebrate life. Their roar is indeed the roar of freedom. The greatest fear in the world is of the opinions of others. And the moment you are unafraid of the crowd, you are no longer a sheep, you become a lion. A great roar arises in your heart, the roar of freedom. Interestingly, those who are lions, those who love freedom, are naturally drawn towards me because the lion will come only to a lion. Reminds me of a beautiful story. There was a lion cub and he got lost in the woods. A flock of sheep raised him and he started moving around with the flock of sheep. One day, a very old lion was passing by and he saw that a young lion was moving around with a flock of sheep. The old lion roared and the sheep started running all over. The young lion also started running, escaping. You see, living with sheep, the young lion also started believing that he too is a sheep. This is how life is. When you are in the company of a sheep, you forget your real identity. You forget that you also are a lion. And so the old lion caught the young lion and took him to the cave. The young lion continued to cry like a sheep. Then the old lion took him to the river. In that river water, the young lion for the very first time saw his real self. He also saw the reflection of the old lion in the river water, and he realized that he is a lion. And then he roared for the first time. The entire forest shivered. They realized that the lion has arrived. And this is how God is, my fellows. This is how the Master is. This is how Buddha is. This is how Jesus is. This is how Mahavira is. They are like that old lion who help us all realize that we are not a sheep but a lion. A lion never fears the dangers and risks and adventures of life. Similarly, I appeal to all my close followers and listeners that do not fear the 8th house and 12th house. Remember, you are a lion. Love to all my listeners and followers. Stay blessed and focus on not what the scriptures say, but what your experience says, what your self says, for that is the real sign of intelligence, divine intelligence. The intelligent person depends on his own insight. He trusts his own being. He loves and respects himself. Your own self experience, your own self inquiry is the greatest service you can render to this human world, says Bhagwan Raman Maharshi. The real journey of life begins only when you start asking yourself that one significant question: who am I? Meditate, love, and let go. Jai Sri Ganesha, Jai Guru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.